Today is Tuesday. Today's Tuesday, and that means it would have been CG's first game, so it's Leo's story. Mr. Leo, what's your story, friend?
My story is good. Okay, my story.
You just said my story is gum. Shh, cover your mouth if you're going to laugh so loud. And then you just said my store. The next thing you're going to say is mice. Laugh in the pillow. Shh, you're going to wake up Alex. That's not good. My story is gum. My store. Mice. Okay. What do you...
So, my story is gonna be...
Yeah. Let's laugh in the pillow and whisper.
Elvie and the Siege are going to Baldi's base.
Baldi's basement?
Baldi's...
Laugh in the pillow.
Baldi's Basics.
Okay, Elvie and the Siege go into Baldi's Basics. Once upon a time, Elvie and the Siege woke up in their little cabin in the woods that was very nice and very normal. And they were going to have some breakfast. So Elvie said, let's try to eat some wood for breakfast. And the Siege said, okay. So they tried to eat some wood. And Elvie was like, this wood tastes awful. And the Siege said, let's put some ketchup on it. So they put some ketchup on the wood. And they ate it. And Elvie said, it's a little better, but it's still too much wood in there. And the Siege said, okay, I got it. Let's cook up some potatoes and eggs and bacon and toast. So they worked really hard and they made themselves a breakfast of bacon, egg, potato, and toast on a piece of wood. And they started eating it. And Elvie was like, wow, still tastes kind of too much wood in there. And the Siege said, okay, let's just throw the wood out. And Elvie said, okay. And they threw it out. And the Siege said, now try it. And they tried it, and it was good. It was like, it tasted really good. And so Elvie said, this is the best bacon, eggs, hash browns, and toast on wood I've ever eaten. And the Siege agreed. And that was their breakfast. But then it was time to go to school. Because Elvie said, the Siege, I feel really dumb today. And the Siege was like, me too. How did you know it? And Elvie said, I don't know, but I gotta go to school and learn some things from a teacher. And the Siege said, let's go. And they got on their horses and took off. They rode around for a long time until they finally found Meep City. They went through Meep City, said hi to the information lady, and got on the tram and rode it as it fell apart all the way to the end of town where the spooky forest began. And they went through the spooky forest, and there was like Freddy, hey Freddy, and Five Nights at Freddy's too, hey Five Nights at Freddy's, and Slender Man, hey Slender Man, and Scream, hi Scream. And they went all the way through the forest to the other side of the forest, and there was a little campground, and they found a little teacher there. And he said, hello, my name is Baldi. And Elvie said, we're feeling really dumb. Could you teach us today? And he said, yes. What kind of a question is that? Everyone get on the bus. And so they all got on the bus and they drove like 10 feet to the school. And then they got off the bus and they went inside the school. And Baldi said, everyone get to class now. And the Siege said, where's class? And Elvie said, I don't know. Let's follow those kids. And they followed some kids into a classroom. And all the kids sat down at desks. And Elvie said, we should sit down at some desks too. And so they did. And there was the...
Are we still recording?
Yeah, and there was the teacher, Baldi. And he had a ruler and he was hitting it in his hand. Psh, psh. Open up your notebooks to page 1. And the Siege said, Elvie, I don't have a notebook. And Elvie said, oh, just a second. And Elvie checked his inventory, and he had some papers. He's like, here, take these papers. Look busy. And so the Siege took the papers. And Baldy said, write down 4 plus 4 equals answer. And so all the kids were using their electronic notebooks. Beep, beep, beep. And Elvie was like, 4 plus 4 equals. And the Siege was like, I don't know what the answer is. And the Elvie said, it's 6. And the Siege was like, okay. And he wrote down 6. And then the teacher looked at one of the students and said, very good. I see you're using your electronic notebook. Anybody who doesn't do that, I'm going to get really mad. And Elvie said, oh no, we need to use an electronic notebook. What do we do? And the Siege said, we have to craft one. And Elvie said, okay. And he threw down a crafting block. And then he got some some lime dye, and he put it in some rock, and then he chiseled it. And it looked kind of like a notebook. And then he got some glue and glued the paper inside the notebook. And the Siege said, make me one. But it was too late. Baldy was already there. And he said, what's this block? Is this chess? And Elvie said, I don't know what that block is. And he said, somebody needs to remove this from my class right now, or play chess with me. And the Siege said, I know how to play chess. And he said, great. Where's the pieces? And the Siege said, this is imaginary chess. Don't you know how to play that? And the teacher was like, imaginary chess? Okay. I'm going to move my imaginary pawn right here. The Siege said, I wouldn't do that. And he said, why not? And the Siege said, because my rook can totally take your queen. Oh, I didn't know you had a rook there. It's imaginary. And he said, then I'll move this king. I'll move my knight right here. And then the Siege said, you lost. And the teacher said, I hate this imaginary chess game. And he kicked the crafting table, but he hurt his own foot. He's like, ow. And then he said, somebody's got to go to detention. And Elvie said, that kid over there. And it was just some random kid. And Baldy said, you go to detention. And the kid said, but I didn't do anything. And then he said, psh, psh, with his ruler, he was smacking it. And he said, go to detention now. Okay, I will. And he ran away. And then they heard out in the hallway the bully, give me all your money. No. And that was the last they heard of that kid. And the teacher turned towards Elvie and said, very good. 4 plus 4 equals 6. You did it right. And Elvie said, oh, that's awesome. And he said, now answer the next question. And Elvie said, 4 plus 4 equals 6. And Elvie said, what's that out the window? And the teacher looked, what is that? And Elvie quick erased 4 plus 4 equals 6. And the Siege said, wow, I've never seen anything like that out the window. And the teacher ran to the window and said, what? Where? I want to see. And Elvie quick wrote down the next question, which was 5 minus 3 equals, and then he put 4.
No.
And the teacher said, what was it? And the Siege said, it was a flying elk, but you missed it. Oh, I love seeing flying elks. Now, let's see your next question. Looks like you got that right, too. What does it say? 5 minus 2 equals 4. That is correct. And the Siege said, good thing this teacher's so smart. And Elvie said, yeah, I'm learning so much right now. I can't even believe it. And the Siege said, what's this? And he said, that girl cheated. Send her to detention. And the teacher said, who? Where? And the Siege pointed at some random girl. And then the teacher was like, you cheated. Go to detention now. And he threw her out there. And the door shut. And then they heard, Gotta sweep. And the teacher said, now for the final question. And Elvie said, can I go to the bathroom? And the teacher said, no. The Siege said, you have to go to the bathroom. And the teacher said, that's right, I go to the bathroom. Nobody goes except me. And he left the classroom. And Elvie quick erased the question and wrote down a third question. Cat plus dog equals poop. And the teacher came back and said, I didn't have to go anyway. What's the third and final question? And he looked down at Elvie's electronic notebook and said, cat plus dog equals poop. And he kind of tweaked a little bit. And he said, let me see that notebook. And Elvie said, why? It's just telling me what is cat plus poop, and cat plus dog, and I answered poop, and it didn't give me any wrong answer. And the teacher said, that doesn't sound right. Maybe your batteries are running out. And Elvie said, nope, I put fresh ones in. He said, let me see that notebook. And the Siege said, what's that out the window? And the teacher said, it's probably a flying elk. I've seen 1,000,000 of them. Let me see that notebook. And he grabbed the notebook from Elvie. He said, this isn't a notebook. It's a piece of paper glued onto a rock painted green. And he snapped his ruler. And Elvie and the Siege ran from the classroom. And he was like, rah, rah. And then there was like, gotta sweep. And there was a bully coming. And Elvie and the Siege just jumped through a window. And there was glass everywhere. And they ran through the forest, got onto the bus, and drove 10 feet to the campgrounds. And then they ran from the campgrounds, and the teacher was following them. Get back here right now. And they ran past Slenderman and said, Slenderman, get that teacher. And Slenderman said, not the Baldy teacher. And he ran away. And they ran past Scream and said, Scream, get that teacher. He's getting us. And he's like, not Mr. Baldy. And he hit his head in the ground. And every single monster guy that they met couldn't dare come up against the teacher. And they finally got to the tram. And they took off on the tram. And they looked back, and through the back window, they saw the teacher running after them. I'll get you. I'll get you. And they went all the way back to the information lady and said, tell Baldy that we went to the pizzeria. And she said, I can't lie to Baldy. It's too terrible. And they jumped through the portal, and they ran and got on their horses and went all the way back, and they got into their beds and hid under the covers, and it was night, and I think they got rid of Baldy.
Oh, he might have.
And then he jump scared them in the window. And they said, no. The end.
He's scary in real life.
Oh, I didn't mean to scare you in real life. He just jump scared them. And then they graduated high school and they were all fine. Okay, what's the name of it? Shh.
What should I don't know what it should be called.
You said, okay, what's the name?
The name is. Wait, what does that button do?
Okay, that's the name.
No, wait.